screen with you? Good. Good. So I hope you can all see that screen. Let me just adjust the size. And the topic of the lesson tonight is going to be dealing with the bad break. So there are various situations where you sometimes have to play a little differently when you discover there's a bad break, maybe the trump suit or maybe another suit. And you may need to play slightly differently. So let's have a look at this one to start with, where you open one spade and West bids 2 clubs, North bids 2 diamonds, 3 clubs, you bid your second suit 3 hearts, and North takes you to 4 spades. And the opponents start off by playing the ace of clubs. And down comes dummy. And I'd like you to start off by thinking about how many tricks you're probably going to make, or in a suit contract, it's often easier to focus on how many losers you might have. So assuming the suits divide normally or reasonably favorably for you, I'd like you to start off by thinking, how many potential losers do you have here, taking into account what you've got in your hand and all the strength in dummy? How many potential losers do you have? So that's going to be the subject of the first poll, and it's going to be with a reasonably good, with normal distribution of the opponent's cards. How many losers would you say you have there? So let me launch that poll. Okay, let's have a look at the responses. And the most popular response was 2. But there are votes for 3 and 5. So let's have a look at that and go through the suits one at a time. Well, in trumps, we have 8 trumps. So with normal distribution, the missing trumps divide 3-2. We shouldn't lose any trump tricks. We don't have any heart losers. We've got the ace, king, queen, jack. But we're missing the ace of diamonds, so that's 1 loser there. And we're going to lose 1 club. We're not going to lose any more than 1 club because we're going to rough after that. So yes, I agree with most of you who said that you would expect 2 losers there with normal distribution. I'd be very interested if any of you who said 3 or 5 would unmute yourselves and tell me why you think that is, if you don't mind. But as far as I can see, I would expect there to be 2 losers there. So let's see how it goes. They win the first trick with the ace of clubs. If they play another club, we're going to rough that. And let's suppose we start by drawing trumps here. We cash the ace of spades, play the king of spades. Everyone follows. So there's just 1 trump left, and we're going to draw it. And now we'll draw all the opponent's trumps, and we're going to turn our attention to the other suits. In particular, we're going to play the diamonds and force out the ace of diamonds. If they don't take it, we keep playing diamonds until they take it. And then when they do take their ace of diamonds, if they play a club, we've still got a trump left, and we can rough, and now we can take the rest of the diamonds and the hearts. So we'll make 11 tricks as we expected.
Can I interrupt, Tony?
Yes, Morris.
I think the person who said 5 losers was just looking at the south hand, not the south and the north.
Okay. So yeah, when you're counting your losers as declarer, thank you for that observation, Morris. It wasn't you, was it? When you're looking at losers as declarer, you look at both hands together, looking at it from the point of view of the hand with the long trump suit, but taking into account all the strength in the other hand. So it's a slightly different way of counting losers. Yes, if you just look at the south hand in isolation in terms of what to bid, so if you were using the losing trick count, you would indeed say expect there to be 1 heart loser, 3 diamond losers, and a club loser, which would be 5. So maybe that's right. Maybe that's what those people were thinking. But as declarer, you count your losers slightly differently, looking at both hands together. Let's have a look at this hand again. This time I've kept the north-south hands the same, but I've changed the east-west distribution. So let's see what happens this time. Again, they lead the ace of clubs. They follow up with the king of clubs, and we rough that just as we did before. And we start off by drawing trumps. We cash the ace, everyone follows. But when we cash the king of spades, West discards. So we've won the second spade, but if you're thinking about the missing trumps, East now has 2 trump left, and they are the jack and the 10. So they're always going to make one trick with that holding. Now, we have to be a little bit careful here with how we proceed at this point. In fact, I'm going to bring up the 4 hands just to show you the distribution. As you can see, East has got the jack and 10, so you can't prevent them from making one trick there. But what are you going to play now? Are you going to carry on drawing trumps? If so, are you going to play the queen or the 6? Or are you going to switch to a heart or switch to a diamond? And that is the subject of the second poll. What are you going to play at trick 5? You've just won the king of spades, discovered the bad trump break. What are you going to play from south hand at trick 5? Let's have a look at the results. And the most popular response is a diamond with 58%, 32% said a heart, and 11% said the queen of spades. So let's switch back and see what we think. Well, before I go any further, I'm actually going to click here on the GIB button. If you're watching this video, you can do the same. And the GIB button is saying that if I lead a spade, I can be defeated. In fact, if I leave the queen of spades, I can go down 2 tricks, or if I play a low spade, I can go down 3 tricks. And I should, in fact, stop drawing trumps at this point. Just think about what would happen if we drew trumps. So suppose we decided to just play the queen of spades. What would happen then is if we leave out that last high trump, but if we then turn our attention to diamonds, they'll get in with their ace of diamonds and they can actually draw my last trump. We'll see how it goes in a moment if you do that. But yeah, you should really leave abandon trumps at this point and try to set up the diamonds. What you're going to do is force out the ace of diamonds while you've still got control of the trump suit. So you can cash some hearts, but I would go after the diamonds as the main thing. East will get in at some point. And now if East, for example, plays a club, you still have a trump in dummy to rough that with. So you can rough that one in dummy, and you're not shortening your own trump holding. Now you're going to cash some tricks. And at this point, with the lead in your hand, you don't want East to win 2 more tricks. So what you can do is just draw 1 round, get rid of 1 high trump, and then leave that last high trump out. So now go about your other business, cashing your hearts and your diamonds. At some point, they will get in, but if they play a club here, you still have 1 last trump, and you can get back in and take 10 tricks with that one. So this is one where you dealt with a bad trump distribution by stopping drawing trumps. So if we go back to that point where I discover the bad trump break, which is there, if I make the mistake of, say, drawing another round of trumps, suppose I drew the queen of trump there, okay, I can win that, but the problem is I haven't forced out the ace of diamonds yet. So now when I play the diamonds, they can get in and they can draw my last trump with the jack, okay, and I've got no answer for that, okay. So that's all the trumps gone. And now I hope you can see they'll now be able to cash their club tricks because I've run out of trumps. So that was one where you draw trumps if you can, but if you discover a bad trump break, you have to rethink it. And in this case, you need to establish your diamonds before you continue to draw any more trump. Do let me know if you have any questions on that one. Let's have a look at this one. This was the one I sent round by email. And
sorry, Tony, can I just ask a question on the previous one?
Yep.
If the way when I did the poll, I did hearts because I thought there are 7 hearts, and if it's equally distributed as 3-3, or if it isn't, in this case it's 4-2. So would I have gone down if I did heart? Because the diamonds, it's more of a chance of getting roughed because we've got more diamonds.
So at this point, if we go back to this point here, this point here, you can indeed play the hearts, because if you keep playing hearts, they will be roughed eventually, but that will be with a natural trump trick. So I think you can play this cashing your hearts, and you can certainly cash a number of hearts. But I mean, the gist of this is you have to want to make your diamonds, so you have to force out the ace of diamonds at some point. So at this point here, the computer's saying I can keep playing hearts, and now no matter what they do, I can make my contract. If I play another heart, he might well decide to rough. Okay. And then let's see. Yeah, so if East now plays a club, I should be able to rough that one in dummy. And East is probably not going to make any more trump tricks because they've just got a singleton jack and you've got the queen. So I think it works out either way. My choice is to play the diamonds because that's where I need to lose the lead there, and I want to set up the diamonds. But I think it does work also here if you play the hearts. Let's go back to this one. Thank you for your question. And this time you open 2 no trump, and your partner raises you to 6 no trump, and they lead the jack of spades. And when dummy comes down, you stop to count your tricks, and that was a very favorable lead of the jack of spades because it now means you're going to make 2 spade tricks. So we start off counting that as 2 top tricks in spades because of that lead. You've got 4 top tricks in hearts, 2 top tricks in diamonds. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And you've got at least 3 club tricks and probably 5. With normal distribution, you would make all those 5 club tricks. In fact, you may well be thinking of making 13 tricks if you can make 5 clubs. So you win that first trick. If they play the king, you win it with your ace. And let's suppose you turn your attention to clubs and you lead a club and you get the nasty shock that West discards. So if you do your arithmetic, you'll work out that East started with 5 clubs as well, including the jack and the 10. So this is now a bit of a problem because if you try to finesse, you'll lose two club tricks. So what can you do about this? Well, what you can do is you might decide to play off your other tricks in the hope that East will discard a club, but East will probably try to keep their clubs. In fact, let's bring up the 4 hands and show you how they might be divided. So if I start playing off my tricks in the other suits, start with the queen, the jack, and then a heart, East here knows the situation in clubs and should be hanging on to those 4 clubs in the hope of taking 2 tricks there. So they may well discard other things like a spade. And if you play a diamond, if East has kept their 4 clubs, there's a chance that you can actually force him to play a club. So as you're playing off these other suits, you're watching to see if East discards any clubs. If they do discard a club, you'll be able to get 1 more trick. But if they don't discard a club as you play off your diamond, say, you now know that East has got just clubs left, including the Jack 10. And now you can make your contract by leading another club and letting East win this. East will win the Jack or 10, and then you know he's only got clubs left. So whatever he plays here, you will win and win the last tricks with your king and 9. So this one you learned about the bad club break, but you were later able to use it to your advantage by throwing in East, if you like, in a position where he had to lead a club into what you have in dummy there. So a slightly tricky one there. The other thing that could have happened as we played the other suits is that East might discard a club. And if they discard a club, then again, you'd be able to make an extra club trick.
Tony,
Hello, Morris.
sorry, just a query. If North had responded a quantitative 4 no trumps,
Yes.
South with 20 would pass.
Yes.
So they miss a slam.
Yes, that's right.
Mhm.
So yes, North was perhaps a little bit ambitious because they've only got 12 points there. So maybe 4 no trump would have been a better bid there. On the other hand, they do have a good source of tricks in clubs, which normally would do, you'd make 5 clubs there with normal distribution if they were 3-2, let's say. But anyway, yeah, that's a good observation about the bidding there, Morris. I wanted to look at the next one, which was this hand.
Sorry, Tony.
Oh, hello, Fiona. Yes.
I know the way you played it, and you're right about keeping length with dummy in the clubs. But if East is thinking, I'm definitely going to get a club trick, because he knows he's seen as well that there was a discard from West.
Yeah.
So would he not be thinking that he could get rid of 1 club and still win a trick? And because if he is end played, he's definitely, sorry, it's dogs, I'm looking at its toys. Hang on. He's going to be end played, East, because it looks that way.
Yeah.
Would he not hold on to a diamond just in case partner's got the queen,
Yeah.
so that he has an escape?
Yeah. I mean, I think what if at this point, let's say a heart is played, if East decides to discard a club at this point.
No, I think he'd probably discard a spade.
Spade, all right. Let's do a spade. Sorry, previous. So let's do a spade.
Yes.
Okay. And suppose what? Another heart?
Yes.
And
Another spade.
another spade, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So now we're coming to the crux of the matter.
Yes.
If I play the spade,
Yes.
now he either has to,
Yes. So he could consider discarding 1 club, because
Right.
he's going to win 1 club with the
Yeah.
Jack.
Yeah. I mean,
And if, so he's definitely, they're going to make their contract, but if he's end played, there is no chance that they get them down.
right.
The only way of doing that is to keep your discard at the moment, the 1 club, and then hold your clubs from now on.
Yeah. I mean, as it turns out, if he does discard a club, declarer can now make the contract by giving up a club, I think. And now declarer will make this, unless he can get to his partner's hand.
Right.
Yeah. So So if he does win a club here, now Declare can make the last three clubs.
Yes, okay.
So anyway, so there might be other hands where that might be a better strategy, but yes, he's
Okay, thank you.
see that he's about to be end played and try and get out of it somehow. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Let's have a look at this hand here. This was an actual hand that was played, and it was played in two spades most of the time, and however, a lot of declarers didn't make two spades. So it was bid. I've actually left it as it was bid on a variety of occasions. Nearly everyone ended up in two spades. And let's suppose the bidding went something like this. It went one spade, two diamonds. West bid two hearts, are a bit weak for that, really. But then they bid two spades, and that was the final contract. And let's suppose South here leads the ace of hearts. So East is declarer here, not South. And I'd like you to have a look at these hands together, the West and the East hands, and try and have a think about how many losers you might have here. So what are the potential losers here? Look at the suits one at a time. And in a moment, I'm going to launch a poll, and the question is going to be how many potential losers or how many possible losers might you have? So let's have a look at the results. And most popular result is 4, 5, 6, and 7 were all chosen as well. And let's see what we think about it. Well, in the club suit, we'll leave the trumps for the end. In the club suit, we might lose to the king of clubs. Shouldn't lose any more. In diamonds, we're missing the ace of diamonds. We shouldn't lose more than one there. And in hearts, we hope we'll just lose the one heart. So one club, one diamond, one heart. And the other thing is, how many spades are we likely to lose? And we're missing the king and the jack here. So we could lose 2 tricks there. But in all likelihood, we're not going to lose more than 2. It could happen. And there are some distributions, really horrible distributions, where you could lose more than 2 tricks. But the chance of making 4 trump tricks, in other words, only losing 2 tricks, is something like 90%. So I think the most likely bad outcome would be that we lose 2 spades, 1 heart, 1 diamond, and 1 club, and that we hope will just make our contract. In fact, when this hand was played, it was played in different ways, and only a very small number of people made 2 spades. And I'll just go through showing you how it was played quite well here. So this is actually how it was played. They played the ace of hearts and then the king of hearts, which declare a ruffed. And I think my plan on this hand would be maybe get to dummy and try to finesse in trumps. So you might lead a club playing the queen there. On this occasion, it loses to the king, and North led a diamond here, which South took with the ace. And this was a rather odd play. South here played a trump. And I'll just bring up the 4 hands at this point, because you're going to see that you do get a rather horrible break in the trump suit. But that lead of the trump doesn't really hurt you. Doesn't really help you too much either, because you're always going to lose two trump tricks here. So whatever you play here, North made the mistake of playing the 4 instead of the 7. So Declarer won that one with the 6. But Declarer is always going to lose 2 trumps. So here Declarer cross to the king of diamonds. Can't finesse anymore in trump, so just lay down the ace of spades. And when they played the queen of spades, that lost to the king. And they led a diamond here, which Declarer was able to win. And Declarer now there's no need to draw that last trump. It's a jack. It'll always win a trick. So declarer just cashed some tricks at some point. South ruffed, but declarer won the 8 tricks and won the last one and made 8 tricks there. This was actually the traveller from when it was played, and actually you can see most people were in 2 spades, but only 2 people made it. A lot of people went down 1, 2, or even more tricks. And this was another time it was played, and really I think what happened to a lot of declarers is they saw this sort of rather weak spade suit, and they were fearful of playing it, or they tried some other tactic. So this was another time it was played. They took the ace of hearts, ruffed the other heart. Here they led the jack and tried the finesse, which failed. Back came a diamond to the ace, and a diamond came back, which declarer won. And at this point, I would have been thinking of crossing to dummy to lead trumps, but this declarer did cross to dummy, but then played clubs. And there's no real merit in playing clubs here. The clubs are winners here, and so are the diamonds. So they discarded a winner, and it got ruffed. Back came a diamond, ruffed in the north hand. Back came a club, ruffed with a 9, over ruffed. 5 came back, ruffed with a 7, over ruffed, and declarer then played the ace and the queen, and made just 6 tricks there, going down 2. Really, I think due to fear of drawing trumps there. So, don't think about, that there's no point doing things like, trying to ruff your playing the other suits there. You really want to try to draw trumps. And even with a bad trump break, you should be able to make 8 tricks there. Okay. Let's have a look at this last one here. And this time, North opens 1 spade. You respond 2 hearts. And that 2 heart bid should promise a 5 card suit. The 2 heart response to 1 spade. And you can then support, North supports bidding 3 hearts and South bids 4 hearts. And the opponents lead the queen of clubs, and down comes dummy. And I've got the last poll of the evening. Let's assume I can launch it correctly. Okay. Which is, can you see that poll there? How many tricks do you expect to make here? So count your losers and see if you can tell me how many tricks you expect to make. Poll ended. See if I can relaunch it. Here we go. There we go. And most of you have gone for 11. Others going for 12 or 10. Let's switch back and see what we think. Well, I'm going to count my losers as I suggested. So in spades, I'm going to count that as 0 losers because I've got the ace king opposite my doubleton. I've got the ace of hearts to lose. In clubs, I don't have any losers. I've got the ace opposite a singleton. And the question is, can I avoid the any diamond losers? So if you work it out, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 diamonds. So the opponents have got 6. And can you at least, try and think about how many losers you would have with the most likely division of diamonds? So 3-3 would be the most favorable division, in which case I hope you can see you could make all those diamonds. But can you also cope with a 4-2 division? If the missing diamonds are divided 4-2, then you can still avoid a diamond loser by drawing 2 rounds and then roughing a 3rd round high if necessary. So I'm going to delay drawing trump here because I want to establish that diamond suit, and I want to cope with at least a 4-2 division. So let's win that first trick, and then play the Queen of Diamonds, let's say, and then the King of Diamonds. And if everyone follows to that, now I know the diamonds are distributed no worse than 4-2. They're 4-2 or 3-3. So what I'm going to do now is not attempt to cash the Ace of Diamonds, which could be ruffed, but I'm going to play a low diamond, and I'm planning to ruff that one with the Jack or 9. As it turns out on this layout, actually West discards, so I know the missing diamonds are both in the East hand, and I can now ruff low if I want to. And again, take stock of the diamonds. We drew 2 rounds, which was 8. 2 more have gone there, 9, 10, 11, 12. So there's 1 diamond out, and East has it. But because I've got the ace, the diamonds are now established. So all I need to do now is draw trumps. I'm just going to draw. East will get in with the ace at some point. If they play another club, I'm going to ruff that, draw that last trump, and I'll just bring up the 4 hands, and you can see that I can now cash 2 diamonds and the spades and the trump. So yes, with even with not a great distribution, with a 2-4 distribution in diamonds, you should still be able to make 12 tricks there by ruffing 1. So that, if you like, is coping with a 4-2 distribution in diamonds. Of course, if it had been 5-1 or something like that, then it would have been worse, and they could have ruffed my second diamond. But played this way, you gave yourself a good chance to make 12 tricks if the diamonds are 4-2 or 3-3. Anyone have any questions about any of that?
Tony, on that last hand,
Yeah.
would you still be able to make 12 tricks if you carried on cross-ruffing?
I believe on this particular layout, you might be able to. So, in other words, I think on this particular layout you might. But let's see. So if we played, so what would you do now? Cash the Ace of Diamonds instead?
No, I do exactly what you did. Play the 2 and ruff that with the 2 of hearts.
Oh, right. Okay.
And then probably play a club and ruff that with the 4 of.
Yes, but I mean,
Hearts.
it doesn't gain you anything. I hope you can see that. Because the south end's now good, except for the Ace of Hearts, right? So there's no need to ruff the diamond. Your diamonds are established, so you can afford to just draw trumps and cash your diamonds. But yes, I think you could try to cross ruff, and because you've got quite high trump, you should probably get away with that too. Yeah. All right, we'll end the talk there, and I hope you found that interesting. We've got the game starting in 7 minutes.